Hi everyone, this is Sharon. I am here today to share with you a flip through of my latest journal. This one I've got tied up with a sari silk ribbon, and I've added this rhinestone buckle on the top. I just think that's so pretty. And we'll open that up. This journal is made with a book cover from the 1880s, and this was gifted to me by my dear friend Connie Krupp. So thank you, Connie. I am finally getting to your book covers. What I did with this is pretty much keep that as is because it's so beautiful. And I just wrapped the spine a little bit with this piece of lace. And this is one of my favorite ones. I just love that piece. And this book is entitled Robinson Crusoe. Going inside, we've got 4 signatures in this journal. And I've used, again, quite a mix of digitals and antique and vintage papers. So I will list some of the major digital shops that I use down below in the description. Now, I'm not sure about this journal, whether it will be for sale or not. At the time that I air this, I will know, so I will put that down in the description so you know, but I do believe this one will be spoken for. So this is the first page. Oh, in the spine, I use this silk tapestry fabric. I just think that's so pretty. Here I created this fabric flip and just edged that with this decorative stitching. Added a little bit of lace onto the top, and that flips up for some journaling space underneath. This is a page from a botanical book that I have. And here I created this little tuck on the bottom with the butterfly, and then I created this journaling card. And this backing on this card is one of the original book pages. It was the fly sheet that had the design on the front. And then there's like an extra little page here for writing. This is some very old and delicate onion skin paper that has lines on it. Botanical book page. This little piece of ephemera I handmade. It's kind of, I would say, a place card for Martha. It's something I made a little while back, and it's got a nice wax seal on there. On this side of the page, I have this really pretty embroidered piece. And in there, I tuck this journaling card. And this is actually made from a remnant or a piece of an 1800s newspaper from my hometown. Here I've got this old 1700s book page that I use for the center, and then I created a couple of pockets and did some stamping on there. And then in those pockets I created a couple of tags, and what I did here was take one individual, actually goes this way. It's a painting, and I cut it in 2 to make the 2 cards. So I did some stitching on there, added fabric tabs on the top, and then the backs I used this digital, which is kind of a fabric sample sheet, and then I just added some of my own antique fabrics on there. And then also on this side, I tucked in a piece of Italian newspaper from 1864. A little scrap piece on the top there. Here I created a flip out. It flips out and then out again for some writing space. And then in there I tuck this antique postcard. And then here I've got this really pretty strip of trim. And then I just put a little charm on the bottom of that. On this page, I clipped in this journaling spot I made from a piece of vintage map. There's some place to write on the back. These digitals and a number of other ones I've used primarily from Ida Jane Designs. And if you've never checked out her shop, you really should. She's got the most beautiful digitals. I just love using them. So her name's Sharon, and I will definitely list her shop below. And these, on a lot of these back pages too, I've used digitals from Lorna at TaylorMade Journals. Here I did a fun little fabric piece on there. I've got some wool and some really old cotton fabric and a button. This page is made from Peterson's Magazine book page dated 1878. So I've got a lot of pretty old book pages in this one. And then here in this pocket, I've tucked in a journaling card with some stenciling on there and some machine stitching on the back for writing lines. Some ledger paper. Those are from the 1930s. And then here I used one of those antique photo album pages, and I just, on the upcoming pages, inserted some photos and images. On this side of the page, I've got this antique fabric that I absolutely love, and then some old trim and lace, a little bit of linen on there on the top, and that flips up. And here, this is some black bean dyed paper. It's got this really pretty periwinkle blue. I love how that turned out. On this side, I created a side tuck, and in there I've got this little coin envelope I made from some images of a wall calendar that I had. Just got some really pretty garden pictures on there. And then I lined the inside of it with a piece of old French ledger paper. And then in there, I'm kind of obsessed with these chandelier pictures lately. It's a kit I got from, I'm going to forget the name now. It's like Allure Book Crafts or something like that. I'll be sure to post it below. But I made a journaling card out of that. Some bird pages. And then in the center, I've got a waxed doily. And on those strings, I've just got some pretty little things here, some vintage jewelry and beads. On this side tuck, I've got an antique, well, not quite antique, 1926, a French magazine page. And then some, this is antique wallpaper from Liz on Lucky Street. And then this is an old, let's see, 1868, a receipt book piece. On this page, I made this journaling card. It's got some paper fabric, which looks really real to me. And then I just trimmed that up on the bottom, and then some real fabric, some wool and cotton. I think that's cotton or linen. And then the back side. And then up on this page, I've got some fabrics and velvet trim and a little bit of lace. And then on this side, I've got another tag that I made. It's layered up with bits of paper and book spine and this silk tapestry fabric, a little bit of slow stitching on there. Pretty much threw everything at that one. And then it's got the line stitching on the back as well. I haven't been showing the backs of my pockets, but I've got a little bit of collaging on there too with some of these bird images. On this side of the page, I've got some straw paper for the page and just a little kind of a page marker on the top that is removable, but I'm using it as a tuck on this page. And in there, I've got another one of these old advertising pieces from the newspaper. And I just did a little embellishing on there. Place to write, some embossed paper, and then a ledger paper image and a sticker on there. This is another tuck, can be used as a tuck on this side of the page, and I added a calling card image on there. I've incorporated some of my own pressed flowers in this journal. And then over here is another one of those coin envelopes from the wall calendar. And in this one, I tucked this film strip. It's got a couple of ladies on there. If you hold it up to the light, you'll be able to see them. And I just did a little bit of stitching along the side of that as well. Here I created a side tuck with this antique wallpaper, did a little bit of collaging on there, and in there I've got this little piece that I've tied up. It's a piece of embossed cardstock, and I just love this embossing folder. It's got this bird on there. I just added a little sparkle for his eye. And in there I tucked this very old piece of onion skin. It's, I believe, like an invoice or something like that. And I believe the date on this is 1912. Some stamping on there. I just love the colors in this wildflower book. This is a book page, I should say. And then on this side, I added this image and created a flip out. This is some piano paper that I embellished on the top. And then in the center of the signature, I've got two pockets again where I've put in these tags. And this is some embossed paper again. The back just has this crinkly green paper. I think it was some green packaging paper that I got recently, but I love the color of it. And then this piece, this is a music sheet cover, the base of the tag. And then I stapled on this vintage garment label. Got some old fabric on the top. And on the back, I put some antique ledger paper. This is dated between 1859 and 1868. Flips out. Here I created this corner tuck, and then in there I've got a vintage envelope with the letter in it, the original letter. I just left that in there. And then this is an envelope that I made from, I don't know what kind of, it's like a garment tag envelope, like from a cleaners or something. And then in there, I've got this tag. On this side, I've got this page kind of flips open, and I did a little bit of stenciling on there with some ink. And inside there, tucked these. I've been loving making these lately. I put them in all my journals. It's something that Rachel at Roxy Creations did in one of her 100-day projects, and it's a fabric sampler page kind of a thing. So I used for a base one of those really old book pages that I have. This is an Italian one, I believe. On the inside, I put more plain paper so that you can use that to write on, and then just use some pretty paper and fabric images. So I've got some old fabrics incorporated in there. That's fabric too, and then the rest of these are just labels and images and things that I've collaged on there. And then on the flip here, I've just got some lace that I tied on. Here I've used one of these old tapestry ribbons and used that as a belly band. And in there I tucked this piece of vintage ephemera. And this is from Italy. Looks like it's dated 1968. Here on this page I just did a teeny little bit of stenciling there just to add a little bit of interest. And then here I created a corner pocket from that pretty paper. And then in there I've got advertising piece. These are originals that I just backed with some paper to give them a little bit of strength. And then this antique postcard. Here I've got a side tuck with some Florentine paper. And in there I've got this antique French seed packet. And this book page with this pretty image on it. Here I've got a butterfly page from one of the books that I have. And I just did a little tab on the top with fabric and lace. This page is made from an antique ledger, and I believe this one is from the 1840s. On this side of the page, I've got a pocket, and in there I created this tag. Just layered up some wallpaper and image, lined paper on the back. The center of this signature is this, it's a rather thick book page, but it's got these, I've got a number of these images around London. And for the ties, I just added some stamps on there. And in this pocket, I've got another tag. Again, layered up this image and some wallpaper. In this very textured packaging paper. Silk ruffle on the top of that page. And then in this pocket, I've got another tag and some really pretty lace on there. And this is some vintage ledger paper. It's really long. But the green and the red I thought looked really nice with this tag and the colors on these pages. This is a page from an old cookbook that I have with some really neat looking fonts on it. And that takes us to the back page. So I hope you enjoyed that walkthrough of this journal. Like I said, it may be spoken for or I may have it for sale. I'm not sure yet, but I will definitely list that in the description below. So I really appreciate you coming along with me today, and until next time, bye-bye.